I'm starting tonight's video with a simple question. Do you believe? Do you finally believe what I've been telling you all year long? Do you believe that the Denver Nuggets are the best team in the NBA? Do you believe that Nikola Jokic is the best player in the NBA? Do you believe that Jamal Murray is an elite playoff performer? Do you believe that Coach Mike Malone is a good coach? Do you believe that the Nuggets have the deepest roster in the NBA this year? Do you believe? It is time to open your eyes and see the truth about the Denver Nuggets, that they are the best team in the NBA, that they have the best player in the NBA, that they are well coached, that they have a star in Jamal Murray who goes from star in the regular season to superstar in the playoffs, that they have 6-7 role players that are elite level players and a couple guys that don't even have to see the court because they're so freaking deep. Do you believe in this Denver Nuggets team? Because I do, and I have all year, and I've been trying to beg people to open their eyes and see what they've been watching with this Denver Nuggets squad. Tonight, they annihilated the Phoenix Suns. 125-100 to take the series win 4-2. And that 25-point win understates how much of a domination this was. It was a 30-point game at halftime, and the Nuggets never looked back. Tonight, you saw everything that makes the Denver Nuggets great. They played elite level defense, and they played incredible all-time great offense led by one of the best offensive players we've ever seen, and is heading to be one of the best NBA players we have ever seen, and people will open their eyes to what they are seeing. Before we get into it, take a second to subscribe to the channel. We're about to hit 1,300 subscribers. I appreciate all the support we've gotten. It's been a ton of fun covering the NBA playoffs this far, and we have a ton more to cover with a lot of good series going on around and the Nuggets going forward. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. But back to tonight's game. The Denver Nuggets dominated this game from start to finish. And what I heard in the media so many times was that the Denver Nuggets didn't play a good enough defense, that Jamal Murray wouldn't be able to recover from his injury, that Nikola Jokic was not a good playoff performer because he didn't make it out of the first round last year. And I kept telling people those are false statements. Those are made by people that don't watch the Nuggets on a night-to-night basis. They look at base level things like overall defensive rating. I am begging people to pay attention to what matters in the regular season. Obviously, your record matters and your defense matters. But when the Nuggets need to play defense, they are an elite defensive basketball team. This season in the playoffs, you're talking about the best 16 teams in the NBA. The Nuggets are 6th in the NBA in defensive rating. They played against the Phoenix Suns, who many people predicted would be the best offense of all time, and shut them down. The Denver Nuggets boast an elite home court advantage with the altitude and having some of the best fans in the entire NBA. And I can't say enough about Nikola Jokic and what he brings to the table. Tonight, we got to watch the number one and the number two leading vote getters for the MVP. And who looked like the MVP to you tonight? Who looked like the better player? Joel Embiid shrunk under the pressure of playing the Boston Celtics and winning that basketball game. He shrunk. For the playoffs, he's averaging 24 a game. Nikola Jokic in this series is averaging 36. A 36-point triple-double is what Nikola Jokic is averaging. That is the best player in the league. That is the true MVP, and it's sickening what we had to watch all year, the way that they diminished this man, his accomplishments, what he means to the Denver Nuggets roster, what he means to the team, what he means to the city, and what he means to the league. Yes, he's a foreign player that, sometimes doesn't demand the spotlight like a lot of American-born athletes. But Jokic is absolutely earned the right to be considered the best player in the NBA. We're going to go into the next round of this of these playoffs, and they will play either the Lakers or the Warriors. It looks like it'll probably be the Lakers, and you will continue to hear a majority of the media pick the Los Angeles Lakers in that series. And I'm telling you, the Denver Nuggets will win that series. The Denver Nuggets will make the NBA Finals, and people will be shocked from what they see from the Denver Nuggets. You're going to hear a lot of people in the media trying to act like they knew that the Nuggets were really good, that they knew Nikola Jokic was really good. Check the tapes. There was a podcast that came out either yesterday or today with Brian Windhorst from ESPN, and the gentleman who was on with him, I don't know the guy's name, but whoever was on with Brian Windhorst said, "Do you think the Lakers are going to get to the Western Conference Finals and allow themselves to lose to the Nuggets?" The disrespect for this team, for this organization, for this fan base is unbelievable, and it's getting out of hand. But they will prove to you that they are an elite NBA basketball team. They will prove to you that they're the best team in the NBA, that they boast one of the best offenses of all time, and they can play defense when it matters most. Tonight, Nikola Jokic had 32 points, 12 assists, 10 rebounds, was a plus 28. I know we don't care about plus minus, but a lot of people in the media just disregard how good a team is with a guy on the court. It matters to me. If your team dominates when you're on the court, it means something. It means a little something to me. Aaron Gordon gave you 8 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Very good defensively. Kevin Durant really struggled in this game, and he did a great job on him. Devin Booker, 12 points, came back to earth. The way that the Nuggets wings defended was at such a high level. Michael Porter Jr. gave you 10 points. But the true story of this game, beyond Nikola Jokic, was Jamal Murray having 26 points, 4 assists, 4 steals, 4 rebounds. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope giving you 21 points, and Bruce Brown giving you 13 points off the bench. Jamal Murray, the fact that he was able to fight back from his major injury and come back and is now the same player that we saw pre-injury. A guy who in the playoffs is able to dominate in the half court, who's able to hit any shot from any level, score on all 3 levels. I'll talk a lot about the value of 3-level scoring. Being able to score at the basket, score in the mid-range, hit the 3 ball. Jamal Murray can do all of those things. He's great in the mid-range, and a lot of people try to kill off the mid-range and say that it's not valuable, not important. The mid-range is still very important in the NBA for being able to get a tough bucket in the half court in a big moment. And Jamal Murray's able to do so. The way that Nikola Jokic is able to dominate the offensive end of the court and make sure that everything is in place is something like we've never seen, and I don't think we're going to be able to truly appreciate it until people start taking him seriously. And it drives me bonkers that they don't yet, but if he goes and wins a title, they will have no choice but to finally admit that Nikola Jokic is the best player in the NBA. They have Kentavious Caldwell-Pope tonight at 21 points. I believe most, if not all of that was in the first half. That's a guy with championship pedigree, a 3-and-D player, an excellent pickup for the Denver Nuggets this offseason. They have such a well-built roster that does so many things well. Another thing that I loved, Mike Malone at the end of this game. They're up 25 points. Mike Malone is screaming at his guys when they give up a bucket. He expects excellence from his players. He expects them to play just as hard when they're up 25 points as when they're tied, as when they're down 10 points. I brought this up before, but my favorite quote, one of my favorite quotes is, "Never accept anything in a win that you wouldn't in a loss." He holds his players to such a high standard, and you can see that in the way that they play. They had 0 turnovers with a couple minutes left in the first half. They take care of the basketball. They shoot efficient shots. They get good looks. They play as a team. They play as a cohesive unit, and I can't stress enough how good this Denver Nuggets team is. And going forward into the next round, the Los Angeles Lakers will be in for a rude awakening. They will have no answer for Nikola Jokic. They will have no answer for Jamal Murray. And it's going to be a dog fight, but I think that the Nuggets pull out that series in 6 games. And the altitude, I think, will be a real problem for the Lakers. We'll do a series preview as soon as we get the winner of that other series in the Western Conference. Want to touch briefly on the Phoenix Suns. My concern it's exactly what I've talked about for a long time. I still am someone that puts value on the regular season and developing that cohesion. So that's why I think the Nuggets were probably the worst matchup for the Suns, because the Nuggets have so much cohesive play, and the Suns are so new together. Devin Booker was unbelievable in this series. Kevin Durant, did his thing. He's not quite the player that he used to be, it doesn't seem at this point. Struggled last year in the playoffs for the Nets. Struggled this year in the playoffs again. At times was a little more inefficient than normal. When you look at this Suns team, they're in a tough spot. Deandre Ayton, there's something going on there. They need to try to find a way to move off of him probably. Chris Paul is getting older. He struggles with injuries every single year. How much can you rely on him? And your depth is really poor. This Phoenix Suns team decided to trade away Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and a bunch of picks to win now. They have next year to try to win a title, and if they don't, I think that their window's slam shut. So the Phoenix Suns are in a tough spot. You have to take this offseason to say, hey, we're going all in on a one-season run, whatever that takes. It's a one-season run to try to win a title. And if it doesn't happen, then failed experiment. Kevin Durant, I think at that point will be too old. Chris Paul will be gone. I think Ayton will probably be gone at some point. I do think you got to evaluate Coach Monty Williams at some point. Back-to-back years in elimination games, his team has been down by 30 at halftime. That's not a good look. Something's not resonating with your players. Your center, clearly, you and him are having problems. Something's got to be figured out in Phoenix, and it's got to be figured out fast because the trade you just made does not allow for you taking time to figure it out. This offseason's the one. And if the Phoenix Suns don't figure it out, they're going to be in shambles for a long time, and they're going to really regret this trade. But all in all, what a series by the Denver Nuggets. They'll move on to round 3, the Western Conference Finals, and Denver Nuggets fans, get hyped because you're about to see your team in the NBA Finals for the first time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Saborgal.